Hi friends, today I'm going to show you how to create an optical illusion with paper strips, and we call this weaving. We're going to be creating a pattern going over and under our paper, but we're going to need a loom. This black piece of paper here is our loom, and I've already folded it in half and I've already drawn my lines inside or on the top. And that's what's going to give us this illusion of a cube coming out toward us when we view this flat sheet of paper. You can see how flat this is. It's very flat. It's not three-dimensional at all. So it gives the illusion that a cube is coming to a point here and coming toward us. So the first step in doing this project is going to be taking your scissors, and you're going to want to cut this first line here. Keep your paper completely folded while you cut. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to keep my paper completely folded. I do not want to open it at any point. So I'm going to stop when I get to the end of that white line. If I were to keep going here, that would just chop my loom in half. My loom is this piece of paper that's going to be holding my paper strips together. So I'm going to cut as close as I can to that white line, get right there toward the end of it. I have to make sure I go all the way to the end of the white line, because if I don't, then my strips won't slide in. Okay, so I'll cut to the end of those white lines. And I'll be really careful, or I am being really careful, so that I don't have chippy choppy lines, because that could make my artwork look sloppy and it will stop me from sliding the strips in like I need to. Alright, so now this should look kind of like a cheerleading skirt or a hula skirt. Okay, now I'm going to open this up. And when I open it up, it's kind of folded up. It's kind of flipping up in the middle. I like to press it down, and I like to pull this up. Okay, and when I do that, it gets flat. It doesn't pop up anymore. Okay, it's flat as a flitter. Okay, so I don't like seeing the white lines and then the not white lines, so I'm going to flip my paper over. But as you can see, I've got all these pleats here, and I'm going to use those to weave. Now, I'm going to do an AB pattern. So I have light green and I have light orange for my artwork today. So I'm going to start with my orange strip, and the first strip is not that hard. I have a pattern. I'm going to go over this first piece of black here. Then I'm going to pick up my next strip and I make it go under. So it should be orange, black, orange. I'm going to pick up this strip, go under, over, under, over. I'm picking up every other strip. So now I should have an AB pattern. Black, orange, black, orange, black, orange, black, orange. And don't worry about these pieces. We'll trim those off later. And I make sure it's pushed all the way up to where my scissors stopped. Now, I'm going to do my next color. So orange went on top of the black. Here's where it gets tricky. You have to switch how you start on the next row. So if orange went over the black, the green's going to need to go under the first piece of black. If I put it on top here, that's not going to work. I've got to go under on my next strip. Under, over, under, and then over, under, over, under, over. And then I'm going to slide this up. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take my next strip. I've got orange. I went under the black, so now I go over the black. I'm constantly switching it on every one. And I'm going to show you what it looks like to make a mistake. All right, can you spot the mistake that I just made? I slid my paper up. I did that right. I started over here. I went over the black instead of under the black, so I did that right. Okay. All right, look. I have orange that went over this black strip and over this black strip. That's not going to work. I need to pull this back. I can only go over one strip at a time. I can't go over two blacks. So over, under, over, and then under. And you may make a mistake like that, but the cool thing about this is you can just pull it right back out and fix it. Now, I've got this gap right here. Every time I put in a strip, I need to squeeze it in as tight as I can. The cool thing about weaving is if you weave it correctly, And if you get your strips as tight as you can, you don't even need glue to keep them in. They will hold themselves in. All right, so the orange went over, the green goes under. Push it up. All right, let's see if I can do this next strip the right way. Okay, did I do that the right way? No? Does it look weird? And also look, I can just move this around however I want. If I pick it up, it's gonna fall. Okay, so I did something wrong. I made this strip exactly like I made this one. So if I went under the black on this strip, I need to go over the black on this strip. So I'm gonna pick up my black. Now I'm back on the right track. Now as I go down my weaving, I am going to find that it gets a little bit harder to put the strips in because they're gonna get a little bit tighter, and that's okay. I'm gonna go under the black now because I don't wanna make that mistake I made before. I gotta be really careful. Sometimes I have to put my hand up under here to help myself lift up the pieces. And I always keep pushing them up and make them as nice and neat as I can, because the tighter your strips are, the better. They won't fall out if they're tight. All right, I went under the black, so now I'm gonna go over the black. And then I'm gonna do the same thing right here. I'm picking up every other strip. I go over one black strip, pick up one black strip. Over one black strip, pick up one black strip. All right. Then I'm gonna go under the black this time. And I might even be able to fit in, another strip after this. I don't want my weaving to be loose. And as you can see, I'm having to be really careful there. All right, it looks like I have room for one more. That's gonna be kind of tight getting in there. So in my strips, I'm gonna look and see if I can find a more slender orange. It looks like this one's a little bit, it's not quite as wide, so I think I can fit it. So the green's on top, so the orange goes under. And this is a little bit hard because it's the last strip, but I'm going to be really careful so I don't rip my paper. But you want to get the strips as tight as you can so they don't fall out. Not even have to flip it over. Now that's in there really tight. If I pull this or if I shake this, the strips don't go anywhere because they're so nice and neat and tight. So now what I can do, these pieces over here don't look so good. I'm going to take my scissors and I just gently go down the side of my paper. Give my paper a little haircut or a little paper cut. Feels like I'm trimming some hair. Definitely only cut the paper, not your hair. And then after I get done with this part, it's going to look like there's a cube coming toward me. And you can see it kind of gives the illusion that the cube is jutting out. And this is how you create an optical illusion through paper weaving, by weaving paper strips onto a loom. Our loom is the black piece. Our paper strips are the orange and the green pieces. Have a great time creating your optical illusion.